Hey folks, let's do some more CSS battles from the past. These are daily targets from September 16th, 17th, and 18th, and I guess this is the YouTube logo, and this is sort of an abstract person, and then we get triangles over triangles. Let's get right to it. I'm feeling bold. Let's do the nested template here, right? Which again, the caveat is that this doesn't work quite the same way in Firefox. I'm going to set red as the background, and I've already set black, this black 191919, not totally black, which would be 000. We're all zeros. Okay, so let's set margins to form that background and set it. And the theory is that on the body I'll be able to set a border radius to make that curvy bit. Alright, so now border radius 20 pixels, how about 30, how about 40, there it is. So then the question is, how do we make that shape? The triangle shape in the middle. We could do another element, but I would like to try to do it as a conic gradient. And that conic gradient looks like, what does it look like? It's got a finite size, right? So I'm gonna do, let's fake it. So there's a conic gradient, and then I'm gonna size it so that it does not repeat. So I'm going to say it's at 50 pixels, and then has a width and a height, 50 pixels wide, and then 50, I'm just going to use 50 for everything, and then no repeat. Okay. So, and then I'm going to have a backup color of this red. So this is background, literally background color. All right, so let's move this into place. 6, 7, 8, 81, 82. And then looks like the width is a little small. 51. And then this position is too low. Let's do 40. Okay, and so the height needs to be 60, roughly. And that's how we do that. Now, what we want is actually that triangle. I think we want to do some froms and ats. So from, in this case, is going to be from, well, the center of it is going to be at 50%. No, it's going to be at 100% over, and then 50% down. That's the at. So that's the center of it is going to be over in the corner. Like, I don't want to see anything that's going to be on the right-hand side of this gradient. So then, and then before that, we need a from. So we're going around 90, 180, and then less than 270. So between 180 and 270. So let's try from, let's try 240 degrees. I don't know if that's correct, but it doesn't matter. And then we do white, some angle that's less than 90, we'll do 80 degrees, and then red. Or no, we'll do transparent. And that is that shape. If we've set this up right, and maybe we didn't really, so this looks to me like I have this position wrong. So let's see if we move this down. .5, 40.5, maybe 41 is fine. And then the width is maybe wrong. Maybe it's 52, 53. And then that we got to adjust. So we're adjusting all these positions. 39.5. That looks a little better. And then let's have it be a 70-degree angle. 60. Whoa, that looks pretty good. So let's see if we get 100% with that. I'm not sure we do. But I'm hopeful. 99.9%. So yeah, indeed, we didn't get it. I think our border radius is fine. 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. I'm just double checking all the numbers. So, I do think it's this triangle. Let's make this 40 instead, 40. And let's submit that. Even though it looks a little worse to my eye, I'm curious to see whether the servers see any difference there. Yeah, it's still 99.9. Okay, so what do we want to do here? One thing I think I can do is not set this height. Yeah. What does that get me? That means I don't need this vertical part. I don't need the Y coordinate. So let's submit that. So that's a little less code, but I don't think it's a difference in terms of how successful it is at matching this. In which case we will need another element. Okay. What do we got? One thing that's weird is this border radius looks wonky. It keeps drawing my eye. I don't actually think that that's false. Like, I don't think that it counts against me. I mean, we've made the shape. We have made the shape, clearly. We're just not getting 100% match, which is our goal in this case. So what if we do 49, 39? No, 240 looks pretty right. It just needs to be lower. How about 10 pixels? 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, 70, 0.1, 0.2, 69, 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.7, 0.6. Let's do that. Let's submit that. So all of this kind of tweaking with the decimal base is really just trying to understand and match what the backend servers are giving us. If we can't get it, we can't get it. Using this technique of the conic gradient. And just a reminder, like if I set blue as the background color, so really this conic gradient is trying to do this whole triangle. Given the lack of success, kind of feeling like rather than hem and haw with this, I'm just gonna nuke this code and say forget it. Let's make a paragraph tag. And the paragraph tag doesn't have to be nested, so let's not nest it. Background is white, and then a clip path. I guess we should really see it. Height 50, and here's where I am never paying attention to what these numbers are, which is kind of to my detriment. Okay, so margin. Actually, at this point, I kind of hate it all. Let's go blank template. Background white. No, background is this red. Border radius 40 pixels. And let's move these margins. Yeah, I don't like any of the code. So we're gonna have two elements. The second one is going to be the triangle. So let's do that. Set background of the body to black, and now we got two of them. The second one is going to be our triangle. So I'm kind of do this with not in any order. This is not really good programming practice, but in my head there's a bunch of different things to be done. So let's do a clip path, and let's just do them all at once. 50% and 0, 100%. There's your triangle. Border radius of 0. So now we got a thing and then another thing, and then this one has to have different margins. Minus 50 probably and then 150. So that's how you get a triangle, and then the background is white, and there's your triangle. All right, so let's actually do this. 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 8, 9, 91, 92, and then the height 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So we've got these, and we've got a triangle. So let's. I think we're gonna have to adjust a bunch of these margins. So let's do that. I'll do 150, 150. So by using the margins, we're gonna force this to be exactly where I want it. How about minus 100? Minus 140, 50, 60, 70, 80. And this is going to give me greater control over where things sit. 7, 75, 74. All right, and then the height is some different number. 10, let's say. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 60 looks good. And then let's increase this margin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that looks pretty clean. Let's submit that. So the diff is showing us that we've got that shape. And that's so much easier to work with and think about. Still, it's 99.9%, but it's nicer to work with for what that's worth. Okay, so these margins, maybe 79, 80, 81, and then we're going to adjust this margin, 58, and then let's change the height to be 59, no, 61, 62, 61. Let's try that one. I have gotten to 100% in the past with this puzzle, so I'm a little frustrated not to be seeing that happen here. But here's where we get to experiment and see whether this little guy is a problem or not. 40. That looks slightly better, weirdly. I don't think that that's a factor, but yeah, no, I don't think that's. I don't know, it looks better to my eye. I'm gonna leave it until I get 100%. I'm not gonna play with it. All right. Is this not truly white? No, it is. I don't think there's going to be any difference changing that one, which is a point of frustration, frankly. Yeah, 99.9, 9.9. So every time I submit, I'm getting 99.9. So could it be that this 50% number is not correct? How about do 50 pixels? 40, 30, 31. That looks a little better. So is it not at the midway point down? Might not be. 30.5, 0.4, 5, 6. Weirdly, that looks a little bit better to my eye. Boy. Ugh. So could it actually be 60? And could this be, could it be 60.5 or some weird number like that? Maybe. Let's try that. Okay. Let's try that. That looks a little skewed to me, a little. That doesn't mean it's not right. Frustrating. Let's try 50% again. what am I doing wrong? I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. Going back and looking at this border radius and seeing, did I do something wrong there? Nope. Oh, all right. How about I'm going to change these margins. And now I'm going to set a width. Width 50. 51, 52, 53, 54. 53.5. Let's try 53 and submit. Maybe that's better. I don't know why that would have an effect, but it might. Oh boy. Okay, 53.5. Let's try that. And submit. Let's make this a little bit different. And then here, again, we're tuning these numbers. Playing with the numbers, adjusting, crafting. Think of it like woodworking. I keep shaving pixels off or adding pixels back. Let's look and see whether we've gotten it. Yeah, so here's 100%. And I'll do my first 100% match. This is all the same code. But look at how interesting and slightly different all this is. So I'm using divs, and look at the way how big a diff that looks. In Safari, granted, I use Safari and not Chrome. The back end is Chrome. But that's a 100% match, where I'm currently unable to get 100% match. Could I adapt these numbers? Is that the problem? So let's do so I'm gonna see if I can make this be border radius 0. And then minus 100, auto, these padding numbers. I'm going to set these, I'm going to turn these into my margin numbers. There they are. Great. So this height needs to be taller. 2, 3, 4. And then this needs to be negative, minus 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So see that big diff? That doesn't look right to me, but I think the server likes it. So again, this is a function of Chrome. So I didn't know what errors to look at. So this is very, very, very similar and to what I had before. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm leaving most of this in place. I'm going to variabilize border radius, so var -r or 40 pixels, and always a bit of a cheat when I'm forced to look at my old working code. But in this case, the insight is that this diff, right, which I use to decide, how does this look, doesn't look better to me, and I was avoiding doing it, right? Like, yeah, I was avoiding doing that. So I'm going to do var -g for background, and then I can replace that with -g, and height, we'll do var -h, comma, like so. Don't need a trailing style tag. Don't need a trailing semicolon. And if I put the just set of a null or a lack of value for the border radius, then it will get unset. All right, so let's submit that. Make sure we're still at 100%, and I think we are. And this is a solve. This took me longer than I was hoping to. So let's minify. Still looks the same. Unit replace. No units to replace that I can see here, and then submit. Vaguely disappointed in this solution, but I mean, it shows a bunch of different techniques. Just hard to get to that 100% number. All right, this guy, definitely the vibes for me here are do this on the body. So what is that shape? I think a conic gradient on let's do a repeating conic gradient. This blue 0, 50%, and then this 50%, 75%. And I think I do need that second number, 75, yeah. Then if I set that at 0 and then down 100 pixels and say 100% wide, 200 pixels tall, and then repeat only on the y-axis. No, repeat on the x-axis. Oh, and then this width needs to be like what, 300 pixels or something. It sort of gets at it. I think that width is wrong though. 2, 5, 6, 2, 5. Then we need to change the center at. Right now it's 50%, 50%. So let's adjust this to be 40, 50, 60, 60. And that is a way to get that shape. So now let's do a radial gradient. Oh, and that can be behind. Need a comma, circle, this white color, which is not pure white, 30 pixels, and then the orange in the background. Then we got to move it up, so that means changing the background position. There's a circle. Needs to be bigger, 40, 50. And that is a way to do that shape. %, match, no trouble with this one. Minify, unit replace, and submit. That's a fun one. Triangles. Triangles, triangles, several triangles. So let's put green on the background, and we're going to set margins on the elements themselves. Set the color. And we're going to need 2 paragraph elements, so I'm going to set that up here. A selector to select the second one, and the second one we want to flip upside down. -1. So when we do a clip path, well, let's add this second one. There's the second one. So clip path, polygon, and that triangle, 50% 0, 100%, 100%, 0, 100%. So there's your 2 triangles. So whichever one we want to do first. In this case, now would it be? Yeah, in this. So we could do the reverse triangle. Which one's? This is something I've never done. If I do 0, 0. No, if I do 50% 0. No, if I do 0, 0, 100% 0, and then 50%, 100%. Is that any shorter in terms of code? It kind of is. So let's do it that way. 1, 2. Yeah, we've got less. We got more zeros, so that's shorter code. So let's do that. That means that the first one we put into place with margins is going to be different than the second one. So I'm going to do display none on the second one, just so I don't confuse myself. So we need margins to push this into place. 100, 120, 121, 122. And more margins. 110. And then more height, 110, 20, 30, 40. Close. 1, 2, 3. That looks good. How about 139 as the height? 138. That looks pretty good. So now, put the display back on. And then our margins then for this guy, it's going to be a negative number, and then the same side numbers, left and right side, one or start and end side. 1, 1, 3. Minus 300, minus 300. 3, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. That looks pretty good. We'll see if we need to dip back into my bag of tricks or former solutions. Maybe we do. I feel like these margins are just not right. So I'm going to increase these numbers. So I'm going, so yeah. 112, 113. So in theory, those are all the same numbers, but we're getting a different display, and I'm not sure why. Let's increase this number 4 and 4. Because it's like it's not really aligned. Maybe it's 114. Maybe that was the problem. Let's submit that. Let's see what we get. There's more tuning to be done here, obviously, because we haven't hit 100% match. Slightly alarming. Ooh, that looks better. Maybe the height is 137.5. And that looks better as well. this just be 115? Just asking for trouble every which way here. Ugh, not enjoying this. Turning into a problem. 135. That's wrong. 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 7.5. Hard not to see that looks better. I might reach back into my bag of tricks. Feels very cheaty, but I don't feel too bothered by it right now. All right. When you have problems, do things another way. Is there a way to do this shape using gradients? Can I do that? And would that be fun? Probably not fun, but it's doable. Let's see how far we get. Let's see if we can do that. The tricky parts are these bits here, right? So let's set background. Why not? Gradient at 50%, 20 pixels from, it's like 120, 150 degrees, and then this color, and then the green color. 40 degrees, let's say, 0. Don't forget have your commas in the right place. 20, 40, great. That kind of works. I mean, we've got bits that stick out, and that is a huge problem. 50, 60. Oh, that's nice and clean, isn't it? I kind of love that. Look at that. So repeat X. $70, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And if we make this transparent, then we get that shape. So if we copy this and change our from value to be 180, add 180 degrees, so 2, 3, 330, and then move this whoa, so it's, why is that like that? Oh, because it's not at 50% 40 pixels, it's at 50% minus 40 pixels? No, 50% 0. 50% 100%. 50%. So the from value matters a lot. But it's the height minus 40, right? So that's 136. Yeah, okay, and then we move that 100, and then we move it down. 1, 20, 21, 22. And then let's put that green in the background, and maybe this is the way to do this. Let's try that. Maybe that's the way to do this. I don't remember doing it this way, but it's also 99% though, which is a point of frustration for me. All right, what else can we do? More adjustments, more submissions. The submissions will continue until we get to 100%. That's how we do it. Very frustrating. Okay. What am I missing? It sure feels dead on. Okay, how about... if I make this 0, and then make this height different. I think it's 136 pixels tall. Let's submit that. Let's find out. .8. So we're going in the wrong direction. Let's try that. Just keep trying things. Let's go into my prior solutions. Let's do the cheat. Here's the first working code. Look how elegant that is. Look how smart and elegant I was. You see numbers that are completely in alignment. So here's the height. The height is the insight. So I think I played with a few different heights. 136.5 is the magic number for this use case. In terms of optimizations, we could var this value and do 40, and then we can do a minus -m, and then scale -1, and then let's submit that and find out. But it's the same triangles, the same polygons, all the same business. So those are the pieces and the parts. The fact that we were not able to get to 100% is a point of frustration, and the fact that the height is like this off thing. Like if I make it 136, does it? Will it be 100%? No. So it absolutely has to be, with this technique, has to be 136.5 pixels tall, which is irritating, but hey, it works. So let's minify, unit replace, and that's another 3 that we've done. Not totally joyous, but we did get it done. So that's fun. Hope you're having a great day out there. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you listening and engaging. Had some good questions about the blank template not working correctly in Firefox, because Firefox has a different behavior. Didn't use the nested template today, but could have done. And I guess here, what other tuning things? Look in the code again. Always, maybe a more slight change could be made. So that's always fun to look at. And that's it. Take care of yourselves. Go make a web page. Everybody's got web browsers. It's real cool. All right. Bye-bye.